Good morning Year 6, it's Miss Crane here, and we're going to have a look at our first writing lesson of the week. So this week we're going to use our learning from last week to write a scientific article. So your first job, if you didn't design your polar animal on Friday afternoon, we need to get that done first. So if you haven't done that yet, pause this video and go back to the lesson that was uploaded last week where you designed your own polar creature and get that done for me. If you have done that, well done. We're going to need that out in front of us today, ready to get our writing done. So, this week you are going to be a writer for National Geographic magazine, which is a very famous scientific magazine that would document things like new animals being discovered. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to write an article about a newly discovered species, and it's going to be the animal that you designed on Friday. So this week our audience are going to be readers of the magazine, and our purpose is going to be a little bit of information and a little bit of entertaining at the same time. So what we're going to start with today is looking at our waggle. So we'll read it through together, we'll pick it apart, and then your task is going to be to find out some of the key structural and features included in it. So let's have a read of it together first. Fueled by a desire to continually develop our understanding of the most hostile climates on Earth, the passionate scientists working at National Geographic are on a constant mission to uncover nature's best kept secrets, and last month their efforts came to fruition. In the barren and inhospitable Arctic, a unique animal was sighted and documented for the benefit of science for the very first time, the foal. And beautiful picture drawn and labelled here by Mr. Pugh, so we'll keep that in for this year. Here at National Geographic, we are of the belief that this discovery will change the way we look at the Arctic and the animals which dwell there forever. As our dedicated readers will already be aware, the Arctic is an immense freezing wilderness that is highly unforgiving. Therefore, any animal that decides to select this hostile region as its home must be a paragon of adaptation to survive the harsh conditions. Luckily, our team of expert scientists have been able to venture to the Arctic and observe this awe-inspiring creature in its natural habitat. Whilst there, they were blown away by its combination of exceptional and previously unseen adaptations. A thick, insulating fur coat which changes colour to camouflage into the creature's surroundings. A hypersensitive set of whiskers, longer than any documented before, which are thought to be able to detect shellfish on the bottom of the Arctic floor at up to a mile away. Widespread paws equipped with rear-pointing spiked claws to hook and trap prey. Black skin under its fur coat, which allows it to absorb more heat from the sun's rays than any other documented polar creature. Bone tusks used for impaling prey and cracking through ice to reach food sources. However, these can be retracted to streamline the creature when moving at speed. And we've got some facts down the side. We've got its name, its weight, its diet, and its habitat. These are just a few of the folk's wondrous adaptations. It truly is a master of the Arctic wilderness. As additional expeditions are carried out, our knowledge of the Arctic folk will continue to grow. This animal will now be added to our ever-growing database of animals and will be used to inform scientific research in the future. Okay, so your task for the first part of the session, Year 6, we need to pause the video. You need to go onto the portfolio on Dojo, and I'd like you to download the waggle so you've got the whole piece of writing in front of you, ready to go. Just like normal, we're going to start with underlining any words or phrases that you're unsure about, and then using your reading strategies, or if you're struggling, using an online dictionary, I'd like you to have a go at working out their meaning. There are some words that I think you'll probably struggle with on the next page. If you want to have a look at those in a moment to give you a hand. Once you've done that, come back to the video and we'll carry on with the task. So these are just a few of the vocab words that I thought you might struggle with slightly, so I've put a few of them up with their definitions. I'll leave those up on the board for you, Year 6, for a few minutes. Pause the video if you've put any of these as your underlined words, and then we'll carry on with the next task. So, now that we have looked at the vocab and we've made sure that we understand what our text is about, the main task of the day is to do our features and structure spotting. So our structure, we're looking at how the text is set out and what is each paragraph about. So when we look at the page, what do we see? Is it just text? Is it words? Is it pictures? Have we got diagrams? And when you read each paragraph, how could you summarise it in a couple of words? What is each paragraph about? And then we've got our features, which is the content of our writing. So the usual things that we're looking for is how formal is it? So is it very chatty? Is it written like you're speaking to a friend? Or is it written like you're trying to make a good impression with somebody? So you're using slightly more standard English than maybe you would do normally. Which person is it written in? So is it first, second, third person? Are you using I, me, we, or are we using he, she, it, they? What sentence types can you see, and what year 6 features are included? So there we're looking for our punctuation, we're looking for our relative clauses and subordinate clauses, we're looking for different sentence openers. So what I'd like you to do, year 6, is to pause your video again. On the next 2 pages, I've jotted down a few ideas that I've come up with, but I'd like you to have a go at it first without me showing you what I've written. So pause it now, leave it on this page so that you can see what you're looking for, so your structure and your features. And when you think you've come up with as much as you can, come back to the video, play it, and let's see if we manage to spot anything different to one another. Okay, so in terms of structure, our writing is broken down into 4 paragraphs this week. So paragraph 1 introduces the discovery, but it doesn't give away any details just yet about the creature itself. All it gives you is its name. Paragraph 2 describes the harsh environment where the creature lives, and it sort of sets the scene for why this is going to be such an exciting discovery for the scientific community. But again, we don't go into any specifics about the creature. That doesn't happen until paragraph 3. And this is where we've got a bullet pointed paragraph which highlights all of the incredible adaptations of the creature. So what can it do that makes it so special? What can it do that other creatures can't do? And why does it have those adaptations? So if it's got tusks that can retract, that can go back into its body, why has it got that? And the final paragraph, paragraph 4, is an explanation of how this discovery is going to benefit science. So in mine I said that it was going to be added to a database of all the Arctic creatures that we know of so far. You might want to say that it's going to be tracked across the wilderness. Maybe somebody's going to take photographs of it. What are they going to do that's going to benefit science from this discovery? And then we've also got a couple of extras. We've got a labelled diagram of the creature so we can see what it looks like and we can see where its adaptations are on its body. And then we've got a facts box which just contains some of the key information about it, things like its diet, so what it eats, what's its weight, what's its habitat. And then we have the features. So in terms of formality, it's written in quite a formal tone. It doesn't use contractions. So just to recap, contractions, you've got an example of one of those in that word doesn't. It's when we take out a letter and we replace it with an apostrophe. So if we weren't using contractions, we would say does not. But if we are using contractions, we'd say doesn't. So remember, in our more formal writing, year 6, we don't use contractions. It's written in first person, it's first person plural, and we know that because it says we, it says our. So it's talking about the National Geographic community as a whole. And then some of the features we've got that make it specific to year 6, we've got that bullet point list that we talked about earlier. Remember, if you're going to use bullet points, either start all of them with a capital or don't start any of them with a capital. But as a general rule, I would say just always start them with a capital letter. It keeps it nice and simple. We've got relative clauses which add some extra information, and you can see those particularly in the paragraph where we're looking at the adaptations of the creatures. So it says things like a thick layer of fur, which helps it to. So we're giving that extra information using our relative pronoun. We've got semicolons to separate clauses. So remembering that the 2 clauses have to make sense on their own. And we've got our little trick of we can replace and or but sometimes with a semicolon, it tends to work. We've got dashes and commas for parenthesis. So remembering parenthesis is extra information. We could also use brackets. If we wanted to use brackets for parenthesis, we can. We tend to use that if we're using figures or numbers. So if we were talking about its weight, we might use a set of brackets instead of dashes or commas. We've got some varied sentence openers, so things like luckily, and that creates that cohesion that we were looking at in our SPAG lessons last week. So varying how we start our paragraphs and how we start our sentences. We've got hyphens for where we've got 2 words that are very closely linked and we need to join them. And then we've got colons for extra information. So rather than having a whole extra clause on the end, we're using the colon, just add a little bit more. So if there are any there that you didn't spot, I'd like you to go back through your writing now, Year 6, and see if you can spot where these have been used in your waggle. If there's anything that you spotted that I haven't put on here today, what I'd love you to do is take a picture of your work, and your home learning people this week are Mr. Pugh and Miss Alexander. I'm very sorry, but you haven't got me. So can you send them through, please, the work that you've done today for your waggle? And tomorrow we're going to use this, and we're going to use the creature that you designed last week to start writing our reports. And I very much look forward to seeing them. Well done.